Azure Infrastructure as Code is very interesting and I love it. My problem is I don't understand the cloud. What is cloud computing? What is Azure? What is cloud concept? For example, when you say you're working with a VM, I don't understand. Now, this is not me telling you what I am interested in or what interests me, or not me telling you what I don't know. This is the exact question that I was asked during our first event on the series Azure Infrastructure as Code. Now, as a quick reminder, we have a series that we are running dubbed Azure Infrastructure as Code, which is basically focusing on how to manage your cloud environment, cloud deployment, cloud resources using code, which could be through Bicep, ARM templates, or Terraform. Back to the question, what is the roadmap that I should follow to understand the fundamentals of cloud? Because honestly speaking, if you don't get the fundamentals of cloud right before diving into something like Azure IAC, which is basically an approach of managing your cloud environment using code, then it's going to be challenging to you because you need to get the fundamentals right. For example, you need to know which methods do you have or which avenues do you have to interact with your cloud environment. How do I know my responsibilities as the customer in the cloud, and what are the responsibilities of the service provider? How do I add users or roles to various users on my subscription? How do I manage my subscription? The pricing, you know, what kind of resources does the cloud like Azure environment provide to me that I can use as part of my solution architecture? Now you need to understand the fundamentals right before going into something else like using code to manage your infrastructure. And that is why we are here today to discuss the right roadmap, especially for Azure, that you can take or you can follow to get your fundamentals right and even to prepare you for the AZ900 certification. So my name is Omolo and welcome to Sego Codes. You know what we do here. We dream the code and code the dream. So let's get straight into the agenda of the day, which is the roadmap of understanding the Azure fundamentals. And then I will be glad to see you in my next series, which is happening on Wednesday every week. And remember, next series is all about getting started with Bicep.
So hi guys, this is the roadmap that you want to follow to get your fundamentals right on Azure. As a quick note, all the resources that I'll be mentioning here, I will link them on the YouTube video description. So check down below to find the links, and you can use the links to learn, and that will be in the right order. So ensure you check the description of the video for learning resources. So basically, Azure Fundamentals journey breaks down into three main learning paths. Now we have describing the cloud concepts, describing Azure architecture and services, describing the Azure management and governance. So let's look into these one by one and into details. So starting with the part one, which is describing the cloud concepts, you need to understand the cloud computing basics. So start by understanding what cloud computing actually is, how define cloud computing and its evolution, and then understand the shared responsibility model, what Microsoft handles versus what you handle or what you share with Microsoft in terms of responsibility. Then the benefits of cloud computing, which we have high availability, scalability, reliability, and predictability. After which you want to look into cloud service models. These are crucial concepts to understand because we have IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. So in IaaS, you manage OS, middleware, applications. Basically, you manage everything in IaaS. Okay. And then we have PaaS or PaaS, platform as a service, where Microsoft manages the OS while you, as the user, you manage applications. Then we have SaaS, which is software as a service. Now Microsoft manages for you everything. You just use the software. Now, my recommendation is practice explaining these differences to someone else. It will help solidify your understanding. And then after which, still on part one, you want to understand cloud deployment models. Remember, we have types of cloud deployment models where we have public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and multi-cloud. So public cloud service is offered over the public internet, and then we have private cloud where services are used exclusively by a single organization. Okay, we have hybrid cloud, which is a combination of the first two, that is public and private, and then lastly we have multi-cloud, which is using services from multiple cloud providers. This is like AWS, having some of your resources, Azure and GCP having others. So you are multi-cloud. Then you need to understand cloud economy. You need to understand the cloud economics. Now, this is often overlooked, but extremely very important. So here we look at the capex and opex, which are basically the capital expenditure versus the operational expenditure models. And then you want to also understand the consumption-based pricing, where you pay as you go. So, which meaning you only pay for what you've used. If you have your instance idle, you will incur very minimal charges or no charges at all. And then you need to also understand the total cost of ownership calculations and the economies of scaling your applications. Now, the above is foundation, and the above is the foundation, and is very essential for making good architectural decisions later on. Then part 2 is describing the Azure architecture and services. So here, you will look into Azure physical infrastructure. First, you understand how Azure is physically structured into regions and regional pairs, availability zones, Azure data centers, Azure sovereign regions, and this one has to do with government. Then you want to understand what Azure has to offer to you as resources. So you need to learn about core building blocks, which is resource groups and Azure resource managers, subscriptions and management groups, resource tags and organizations. Then understand the compute services. Now, this is why you spend a lot of time, because this is now what you'll basically be using to host your application. So we have VMs and VM scale sets, Azure App Services, container instances, and Azure Kubernetes Service. We have Azure Functions and serverless computing, and then we have Windows Virtual Desktop, and many more. So here I recommend actually creating each of these in a free Azure account to get hands-on experience. So if you don't have a subscription, you can create a free account. I'll leave the link on the description of this video. And also, if you're a student, you can create the Azure for Student accounts, which will give you $100 credit and many free resources that you can use in your practice. And then remember to look also into networking services. Now, networking ties everything together. We have virtual networks and subnets, VPN gateway and express route. We have Azure DNS and traffic manager, Azure firewall and network security groups, or NSG. We have Azure load balancer and application gateway. Now, you need to spend extra time here because networking is often the most challenging part for beginners. I'm not going to lie about this. Even I myself, I still find challenges when it comes to networking services on the cloud. And then we have storage services. Now, you need to understand the storage options, which include Azure Blob Storage, Azure Files, Queues, and Tables, Azure Disk Storage, redundancy options, and storage access tiers. And then database services, where we have SQL database, Cosmos DB database, or MySQL, PostgreSQL. We have Synapse Analytics, Cache for Redis. And by the way, for Cosmos DB, we also have an event in our community which is running that is focusing on Cosmos DB and TypeScript. If you want interested, comment below and I'll send you the link to follow up the event. Then let's go into identity services. Here you want to start with Azure AD, which is Active Directory, but I think it has been renamed to something called Microsoft Entra ID. Then we have authentication and authorization. We have multi-factor authentication, which adds an additional layer on top of what we already have. Then we have conditional access. This focuses on things like you can only access this service from a particular device or from a particular location or particular times. So that is on conditional access. Then we have Azure AD Connect. Then lastly is part 3, where we have describing Azure management and governance. So here you want to be familiar with cost management because nobody wants surprise bills. So you'll understand Azure pricing calculator, which you can use to manage, to estimate the cost of your architecture or your resources. Then you need to understand total cost of ownership calculator, because just provisioning a VM and knowing what it entails is not even enough. You need to understand that, for example, you need to have networking in these resources, and then you also have ingress, which allows you to communicate with other resources. And these, all of them, they incur additional charges. So when we talk about total cost of ownership, this includes the networking, the maintenance, the traffic cost, and everything. And also remember, it also depends on the regions. Then we have cost management tools. You need to understand the cost optimization strategies and reservations and saving plans. Then we have governance features, and this is more of Azure policies, RBAC, which is role-based access control, resource locks, which is used to protect resources from being accidentally deleted or modified. We have Azure blueprints, management groups, and hierarchy. Then monitoring tools, because we need to keep everything running smoothly. So we need Azure Monitor, Azure Service Health, Azure Advisor, Azure Log Analytics, Application Insights. And another thing is compliance and protection, keeping your resources secure and compliant, Azure Security Center, Sentinel, compliance documentation, look into Microsoft Defender for Cloud, Azure Key Vault. Then we have deployment management tools. And this focuses on how to manage it all. So the most common and the most popular and the most used tool is the Azure portal itself. This is basically logging into your portal to the website and being able to manage them using clicks or the GUI. And then you have other tools like the PowerShell, CLI, Cloud Shell, and mobile applications. And then finally, what are some of the resources that I recommend for learning all this? So number one on my list is Microsoft Learn. So the Azure Fundamental Learning Paths are completely free, interactive, and provide sandbox environments, which you can use to learn and practice even if you don't have a subscription. And then we also have AZ900 certification materials, even if you don't plan to get certified. These study guides are excellent resources. Then we have Azure documentation, we have Azure Friday videos, and Azure virtual training days. So for hands-on practice, I would recommend you create an Azure free account with $200 credit for 1 year. And then you can also use Microsoft Learn sandboxes that don't require a credit card. And then also work through the Cloud Skill challenges and exercises. So basically that's it. And for this video, all these resources, I will link them on the description of this video. Be sure to check them out for you to start learning. So that's all for today, and see you in the next video. Osiko Codes signing out.